are here in Houston, Texas with Rick Witsken. We're here for the NPL Combine, and Rick co-founded the NPL. So we'd love to hear what the NPL is and how it came about.
Clearly, the NPL is near and dear to my heart. I want to give a shout out to my co-founders, Beth Bellamy, also my mixed doubles partner, and Michael Chen. You know, we knew in 2022 that the focal point was becoming less and less fixated on the 50 plus pros and maybe a little more on the open pros, which rightfully so. We get that. I remember talking to Simone Jardim, and we just had to kind of have our own home for just our people. And when Beth and Michael and I were talking, we thought, okay, there's a couple individual tournament tours for some senior pro events, but we wanted to do a team thing. And that being said, we thought, okay, we need to talk to some of the top players that we're really friendly with. We had a lot of top players coming to us, Rick and Beth. You guys at the top of the standings, whatever. Like, what do you think you could do to help save the senior pros? And we're not saviors. We have a village called the Senior Pros Champions Players, and we just wanted to get a team atmosphere, B, an indoor capability, because we've been in too many events with bad weather, events canceled, money not doled out. We were kind of done with that, and we wanted the team aspect because we know, well, hopefully after 50 years, people know how to be a good team player.
Right.
Most do, not everybody.
If not, probably a little too late to maybe change the paths at that point.
Yeah.
Might be a little ingrained.
And the owners start knowing who those people are.
I'm sure.
The world is small.
But, ultimately it was about trying to save the 50 plus pro, because we know how we do against young pros, and we were very competitive against them. Maybe not 8 matches in a row, and the young pros appreciate us too. We're friends with a lot of, we train with a lot of them, and it just was time to find our own space in the pickleball world.
That sounds great. And what is your story for why this is so incredibly meaningful to you?
When we had our first combine in 2023 in Oklahoma City, when we realized there's people from other states and other countries coming to our combine. Singapore was represented, Australia was represented. We knew there were people that couldn't play all these tournaments to be noticed by team owners, because at that point in time we'd sold 6 teams before the first combine.
Wow.
And so how special it is to know that people are willing to love the NPL, come to a combine just like you did today, put it on the line in front of all these team owners, all the general managers, co-founders, and top signed players like we had here today, watching, putting on the line to hope to make a team. Pretty special. And at the end of the day, we had an interview in Oklahoma City, and the sports reporter said, I think you're the first 50 and over combine in sports history.
Wow.
And I'm like,
wow, that's amazing.
Whoa, wait, what did you just say? And that felt so amazing, right? We know that there's a Legends Golf Tour or 15 over, but for a combine, look, everybody in our league has been super successful. They've either been successful in corporate America, having their own business, or being the mother of children, raising them, which we know that's just tough, if not tougher than any other job. So now it's their time. And literally I got in at 3:00 this morning from Miami. I was running a Nike camp for juniors, and then watched my nephew, Ben Shelton. And I came here on 3 hours sleep, and I walked in this door to the Pickleball Country Club here in Houston, and I had goosebumps. And my goosebumps, and this is 3rd year running, was for all of these people. There's 140 players this combine this weekend. I didn't know 100 of them, but it gave me goosebumps that what we created has been such a fixture in their life that they're willing to put on the line. And many of these people said, we love the NPL, we see what you're about, you're for our people, and whether we get drafted or not, we want to come back and try harder next year. We'll work on even better diets. We'll work on even better fitness. We'll work on being better at our game. Do you know how good that feels to know that you're part of something that's a greater good for your people. 15 over players are great athletes. They're great people and they've been really successful. So to your point, like it's almost taken on a life of its own as a co-founder. What we appreciate now, we just wanted to give a landing pad to our people. But now it's like, oh my gosh, if you use all the fitness levels of these people, all the intelligence, all the training, it's just inspiring to be help create that.
Right. Yeah, the NPL is a catalyst for healthier lifestyles. I know I set my goal to try and make it just to this combine last July, and John trained me from July till this weekend, and I'm the fittest I've ever been, the strongest I've ever been. I'm playing the best level I've ever played. Whether or not I get to a team, it was the NPL that inspired that new level just in me, and I'm only one of those 140 people that you mentioned. And so the NPL was the catalyst for that healthier lifestyle. And that's just one story.
And to be fair, she's just a psycho, and he's the only one that wants to keep up with me. All so I can't find any guys my age that want to go do what I'm doing. So I found her, and now she's doing it with me.
How old are you, John?
I'm 32.
So kudos to you for appreciating milestones in life at a young age. And I can tell you that a number of people, 30, 35, 40, we have 45-year-olds that say, Rick, Beth, we cannot wait to turn 50. Do you know how good I didn't want to turn 50 until I was about 47, 48, and I realized, okay, senior pro pickleball, whoa, I can make a living, I can be a pro. Then I couldn't wait at 40, my birthday's in January, which is the worst birthday for senior pro pickleball. And I was so excited to turn 50. You know, people have told us they cannot wait to turn 50. A lot of people don't love that in life. But now that we've got this offering, it's a beautiful thing. And kudos to you being that young at 32. We've got a lot of younger players that aren't quite making it the pro level that are going to be great players when they turn 50, or maybe we change the age restriction at some point. But it's really a new lease on life. And really, you know, Sarah, when you go through life and you're so focused on creating your career and making enough money and being a parent, it's not about you, really.
Exactly.
It's about what you can do for your family or your kids. And now, in the friendships that evolved, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I literally was in pictures of pods today of these 8 people, and they're like, Rick, I just met a BFF. I just met somebody I'm going to know for life. That's what the NPL is about.
Right.
This is not about individual tournaments. That's not what we're about. We're about creating families, cultures, and kudos to the team owners, because they all have their own culture within their city. And to have these players want to give back to our vision and in turn to those team owners, it's just mind-boggling, and I don't see us slowing down.
That's amazing. Just continuing to grow.
Yeah.
What are some of the growth goals for the NPL?
Well, number one, we just had kind of a great addition to where we put team owners on the board. So now the team owners have voices on the board to help create that vision. I'm a visionary. I could tell you where I think we're going, and I think that matters. But at the same time, I do care what team owners think. So does Beth, so does Michael as co-founders. We've got Rod, the new CEO, that's awesome. He ran the Indy 500 in the RC Tennis Championship. We got Matt Troyer, who's a player and a GM of Indy. He's a really, really bright guy. So we've got 3 team owners, along with the 3 co-founders, and then Rod and Matt. I mean, I don't want to speak for the whole board, but I do know this. I know that the sale of additional teams is happening. We've got only 4 teams we're selling into 2026, because that'll make 8 and 8. And we've got about 15 interested team owners, potential team owners, lobbying for why they should be able to buy a team into our league. And when I talk to people at the Combine today, hey, who lives in a city they think would love a NPL team? I mean, New York City, where are you at? You're coming. LA, Vegas, Chicago, Atlanta. Those cities are coming. We haven't even hit the largest markets yet.
Right.
You know, we're in Indianapolis, and we're in Naples, and we're in Coachella Valley. It's coming. And I would recommend, if you want to save some money by watching this podcast, you might want to get in sooner than later. Just saying.
That makes sense. That's exciting. What are some of the individual stories, like without mentioning specific names, that you've heard of that have been the most inspiring of players whose lives have been impacted?
Because that's one thing we have seen time and time again with doing the podcast is the stories that you hear. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Even just even ones that we've heard off camera.
Oh, for sure.
They're gut wrenching, but it's some of the most inspiring stories that you've ever heard.
So I get chills for a reason coming into these events, right? And, one of the reasons is that we have signed players coming to combines on their own dime to meet and greet these combine players that want to be in their shoes, and they just want to give back because they're super appreciative.
Wow.
The John Hedbergs and the Scott Johnsons and Joe Parisos and Patrick Cotes, and today Helen Wilhelm and Rich Lopez and Bernard, who was on my team last year. I mean, it's so nice that they come because they aren't elitist mentality people. And so, and I will say, being a top player, it's not the easiest thing to not be able to choose your partner because you're playing on a team,
Right.
and the owner chose your teammates, and you may not win because the two of you at your top spot aren't the perfect team against two great players. But when you have the greater good of your team at hands, then you realize it's not all about you. And I will tell you, most of the women that are our top players, so we have all the top women, they are good with that. A couple of the guys, like, maybe this team stuff is not the best thing for you. But for most top guys, they're like, heck yeah, we're in it to win it, but we're also in it for the growth of the team and whatnot. So I think that, when you talk about what spiritually affects me in this personal stories, shout out to all the top players that are winning golds and silvers in individual tournaments that love the team model. Johnny Onsines is a very good friend of mine. He was my partner last year. He played for a team that was a little challenged in wins and loss column last year. He said, Rick, I had an unbelievable time last year. And he was playing with players that weren't quite his level, and he wasn't winning a lot. But because Bob Stroman at Naples created a great culture, Johnny gets the big picture. He's the Davis Cup coach of the tennis team for Brazil.
Wow.
This guy gets team atmosphere.
Right.
And so he has that capability of thinking bigger picture. And, not just top players, but there's a woman in our combine today, and I was told this by the Austin owners, that this woman was in severe depression for 16 years. And almost rock bottom. And she heard about the NPL, and her vision just to compete in a combine has pulled her out of the quicksand of mental health issues. And we have a guy on my team named Ken Julian from the Indy Drivers last year. He's got Parkinson's disease, and I work with him back home. And he said, Rick, getting out of bed's the hardest thing. He said, but playing in the NPL and waking up and getting through those difficult moments of Parkinson's, he's like, NPL inspires me throughout the day. That feels unbelievable to know that, we've created it, but more importantly, just what it means to people. And I'll tell you one more quick story is there's a woman in our league that has an autistic child. And I mean on the extreme of autism. And she said, as much as I love my child, it's really been difficult for me in dealing with that battle every day. She said, the NPL drafted me. The NPL gave me an outlet for what I have some difficult times at home. She's like, this is a lifesaver for me. And when you hear things like that, it's okay, put it on my gravestone when I die.
Right.
NPL. Because for me as an owner, this isn't about the monetization of it. It's about what you do for people. I mean, look, you're younger, but you're obviously 50 years older. You don't look it, but still, I think, when you get to be our age, you start thinking what's good for people that you can be part of rather than where's your next paycheck going to come from. So that's what drives me. I mean, it's why I fly from Miami and get here at 3 a.m. and I'm out of bed at 6. Cannot wait to meet and greet all these people. And I did a little Facebook Live earlier on my Facebook page, and one of the guys you came and you said hello to every player and you said hi to me. Because you're just as impressive as I am. What? Because I started a league? I'm somebody? No. We're in this together. We're now a family. So
Right.
the appreciation we feel drives us too.
Those are amazing stories. And yeah, you did bring that energy. You came and introduced yourself on our practice court early this morning. And I didn't realize you had only had a few hours of sleep because your energy did not seem like that. You were so welcoming and so friendly. And all of us on the court stopped and were excited to meet you.
Yeah. Well, I did tell you that you're my favorite players in the Combine. And I just have a big heart. So I told that to a lot of players. But no, I mean, I didn't want to interrupt you guys, but at the same time, I want to get to at least say hello to everybody, only because this is what we're about. This is not fake. This is not, oh, please. I mean, honestly, the Combine, we should be charging more money than we are. This is a hell of a deal for what you get compared to what you do for individual tournaments. It could be blown away or rain or no team. Like, we've got a sweet spot. We know we could charge more, but that's not what it's about. Beth is an all-American woman that's an incredible human being. She's from a very successful family. Michael has been so successful in corporate USA and his CEO status. And I mean, we don't need this, but we want it. And we want it for our people. And you're our people, and you're going to become our people eventually. And just by doing a podcast caring about us makes us care about you even more. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, one of the coolest things for pickleball is that my mom's the one that got me into it. So actually she, and I've told this story multiple times, but she bugged me for years to come play. And I was like, no, I'm not going to play an old person sport. I'm good. Just because of the way it was branded at the beginning. I was out like running half marathons, doing these cycling events. I was like, I don't want to go hit a plastic wiffle ball. And then when I started, I absolutely fell in love with it. But it's also something that I get to do with my mom. And go out and get to hit a ball with her. And it's, those other sporting activities that I still do. I couldn't like take her out snowboarding with me. I can't take her out to do like mountain biking and stuff like that. But it's cool that you mentioned too about the individual who their child has severe autism, because my brother is severely autistic and severe Down syndrome. So the worst on both spectrums. He's nonverbal. So I saw like what my parents went through. Probably like at 32 on paper by the birth certificate. Yeah. Probably not 32 in a lot of like the mentality that I hold. Yeah. I've seen
life experience.
Yeah, a lot of life experience that most people couldn't fathom. And I got to see, eventually, my mom was a great racquetball player, still plays, but all of a sudden she like fell in love with a brand new sport, has this amazing community that is behind her, that she gets to have these friends that she didn't have before. And so like I definitely see I love being competitive. Don't get me wrong, but I love seeing these great communities that are fostered.
Community. And pickleball gives John's mom that outlet that she needs from raising and caring for her son. That takes all of her energy and thought, and then she has this beautiful pickleball community that she can be immersed in and just focus on her own joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great to see.
Well, what's interesting is and that's a beautiful story, and I appreciate your mom connecting to your beautiful sport, and that whole misnomer of pickleball being an old person's sport, it's blown out of the water now.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
sure.
And I know you know that. It just, like I've got a 16-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 20-year-old, and when I talk to them, because I've been in this industry for 13 years, so that's a pretty long time, and I played pro 10 years ago. So when I was doing that as a former tennis professional player and from a tennis family, I took a lot of bullets from the tennis world.
I'm sure.
But even my own kids are like, pickleball, Dad, come on. Even the name's silly. Like, now, my daughter started with one other person a pickleball club at Ashland University in Ohio.
Awesome.
My daughter, Peyton, who's a senior, is part of the pickleball club at Zionsville High School in Zionsville, Indiana. Now Peyton's going to be working at the front desk of this new club we're building.
Very
Even
cool.
Colin, who's 16. So, like, it didn't hurt that a lot of famous people started being part owners of MLP teams, and we appreciate that as well. We obviously in the NPL, we have Vince Vaughn, who's a majority owner of Coachella Valley. We've got Heisman Trophy winner Danny Werfel, who's adding super value. We've got a lot of really impressive things, but where the connotation of old person sport, even with the 15 over top, I mean, everybody's great, but you look at the Pod 1 players, they're phenomenal. Like, we compete with the Open pros at a high level. They respect us. I know they do. I talked to Andre Dasky, who's a good friend of mine, yesterday in Miami, and he's doing a commercial he was doing a EULA engagement, and I was doing the Nike camp engagement, and he's 30, I think he said 35, 36. And like he and I started together on the Pro Tour. He was granted in his 20s, I was in my 40s. But I know he respects us, and I know that, when he gets to 45, 50, like he will absolutely be sniffing the NPL, and so do a lot of the pros that are aging out of open status.
Well, and also, I mean, just for like a guy my age, I love to see people in their 50s compete because, like you said, like eventually I'm going to be 50.
Yeah.
And I have no interest in slowing down. I have no interest in living a sedentary lifestyle. Like I want,
You're
so
a competitor.
yeah, like it's never. And my mom's a perfect example. Like it doesn't go away at all. So it's. Not that I'm wishing away my 30s or my 40s, but it's nice that I can play a sport that eventually might lead to, still being able to compete when I'm in my 50s, 60s, 70s, along with, because I'm sure I could still go snowboard at 70, but, I even at 32, the falls are getting a little harder. The bruises are lasting a little longer. And, but yeah, so it's really neat to see, and I love what you're doing and giving back to these, again, fostering that community. Again, just from someone who's in their 30s, it's amazing. It's a great perspective to see through, and it's great to watch.
Thank you. Like I said, it takes a village. It's not just me. It's my co-founders and our administrative team and the owners and what they've done to, percolate the league at the highest level and the bandwidth of multiple cities. I think it's really cool that we're it was our idea to go through cities, not just a team owner's selfish desire to say XYZ. And I think the team thing from a city perspective and our regionalization of it this year, where your Pod 1 players are pretty much displaced into cities that are really around their industry with the teams, it's been kind of a beautiful evolution.
So you mentioned your background in tennis and then transitioning to pickleball. What was your and your family's background in tennis, and how did you come into the sport of pickleball?
I mean, my 92-year-old dad, I'm really proud of him, and my 85-year-old mom, they gave birth to 8 children, and 4 of those children got Division I full scholarships in tennis.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. and honestly, my sister, Lisa, she had a scholarship offer as well to Evansville, and she decided to go to IU. Not play tennis, but Todd Witsken was kind of the patriarch of pro tennis in our family, and Todd was very revered by so many already because he was the best junior in America in the 12s and 14s and 16s and 18s, and then he blew on the scene at Southern Cal, which was a top team in the country, USC, and then when he beat Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe, those are big names. You might not know them, but we know them.
Yes, I know them.
I know them. I watch more tennis than she does. So she was a tennis player. So.
Well, Todd was not only an incredible #1 in the world doubles player, he was top 45 in singles, and he was respected by everybody. And when he got a traumatic brain tumor, a glioblastoma multiforme in 1997, he was given 6 months to live. He lasted a year. And, when we were all as a family, super proud of everything that he did, I was at the time at college at University of Alabama and just revering him. And that's why I played pro tennis, All-American for me, University of Alabama for 2 years. I started playing pro tennis, but he was working at the tennis center downtown Indianapolis because he'd gotten off the tour. Well, a lot of people said, do you regret not continuing your pro tennis? And no, I don't. I mean, I was ranked 400 in the world, and, that was after 6 months out of college, and I got to work with Todd for 2 years, and if I had played pro tennis, I wouldn't have been able to work with Todd for the last 2 years of his life. So how lucky I feel, so
That's
privileged.
A gift, yeah.
It was a gift, that decision.
Good time together.
But anyway, Todd, was such a hero to so many when he got his brain tumor. It wasn't like, well, why me? He said, why not me? He went to the cancer hospital in the cancer wing, and he's like, I see people that are going to be dead in a year just like I am. And we did some clinical trials, and he did, and his inspiration to so many on his tennis journey turned into the way he battled and looked at his cancer journey and fight. And, he just influenced so many people in 34 short years. He died in Memorial Day, May 25th, 1998. And, everybody in the tennis world was like upside down. And I will say that on Todd's last trip, we went to Yellowstone with his brothers and his best friend Brian Shelton and a couple of their friends. There was a bald eagle, which is on my Ripskin logo here. Bald eagle was following us around at Yellowstone. We went whitewater rafting, and we went hiking and fly fishing and horseback riding. Bald eagle was everywhere. So to me, everything I do, whether it's starting the NPL, playing in pro pickleball tournaments, running a middle school tennis team or pickleball club team, starting a new facility, like everything. In fact, we're going to have an eagle flying around at our third shot pickleball in Indy, April 26th when we open. But to me, everything's in the spirit of Todd. And the beauty of Todd's horrible illness is that his best friend Brian Shelton kept visiting Todd in Zionsville, Indiana when Todd was sick. And he and my sister started falling in love amidst this horrible terminal illness, became almost a loving state of matrimony. And Brian and Lisa, and by the way, I was able to play in the RCA championships with Brian Shelton as my doubles partner in honor of Todd. And that was a really cool thing. He and I played a great match, and we lost in a really close one, but it just was feeling Todd's spirit out there. And then, fast forward to Lisa and Brian having children, Emma and Ben. Emma was a great tennis player, and she played in college at Florida. Then Ben went to Florida, where Brian was coaching at the men's team. And then Ben ended up winning the college national championship. Ben ended up winning so many challengers, and he shot up to the top 50 in the world, like almost faster than anybody.
Wow.
And so Ben's middle name is Todd. Benjamin Todd Shelton, named after my brother. So I've been to 2 Australian Opens with Ben, including this last January. Of course, I'm going to fly there and be part of the team. And, my sister Lisa, I'm very close to her, and Brian, a great brother-in-law, and me having my tennis background, I love seeing it. But more than anything, the tennis aspect came because of Todd Witsken for me, and then our whole family like really rallying around Todd's illness, and then seeing Ben live out at the highest level. He's number 14 in the world right now. He's 22 years old. Like, he's insane. Everybody, I was in Australia, and I was in the airport, and everybody's flocking. Ben Shelton. Like, he's got a lot of pressure on him, and I don't envy his position, even though he's super famous now.
Right.
But he's just a great kid with great, Southern values from Atlanta, but also Midwestern because of my sister. And he loves kids, and he loves to give back. So he's a beautiful person, but this isn't about Ben. It's not about Todd. It's not about Brian. It's not about Lisa. It's about both families, the Sheltons and the Witskens, cultivating this lifelong journey of trying to be a better person.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great story. Wow.
That gives me chills. Just like, yeah, thank
Well,
you for sharing that. I mean,
No, listen,
that's an amazing story.
I mean, I know people think I'm crazy that I saw him win in the round of 16 at Australia at 3 a.m. because of the time difference. I booked a ticket right after he won, and I was on a trip to Australia 6 hours later. People usually plan to travel into Australia.
Right.
This is my nephew. I don't care if I have to fly 40 hours as long as I can guarantee I'm there for the match his next day. And so I was able to do that. But when I watch Ben, I have chills just like I have chills coming to the Combine, because it's a higher power. It's a bigger thing. Like, this isn't about me. This is about NPL. It's the brand awareness now, the vibes that NPL puts off because we do things first class. That's because everybody's doing it the right way. It's not me, but even with Ben, it's like, this is such a spiritual thing. I mean, don't we look for like more important things in life than just material at age 50? Like, I know I do.
Absolutely.
And so I think that I'm so lucky that my 92-year-old dad and my 85-year-old mom get to see. I mean, heck, losing a son at age 34, losing a kid ever. That's so, like, it killed all of us. But I mean, for them to at least, it's Benjamin Todd Shelton, like, they see what he's doing up there. Come on, this is like an insane story. And I want everybody that's watching this podcast to know that in a horrible tragedy, in a horrible times, like, good things happen. And it may take a little while to see that, but there's always going to be a silver lining. Try not to get your head in the sand too much, even the people that have depression, that are playing the NPL. Like, there's something there. You just got to find that's going to pull you out into the positive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's with everything in life. This morning we were just talking how everything's a decision. I mean, everything's, Sarah was saying how she wasn't tight she was playing well, she was in the groove, and I was like, well, yeah, but that's your decision. Like, even if you're tight, like, you can decide to play loose.
Yeah.
Like, you can decide, and so whatever life throws at you, it's up to you to make that decision, to make the best of it.
And find that silver lining.
Yeah, and then you get to watch these beautiful things occur out of things that most people would consider a nightmare, or that you considered a nightmare when it was occurring.
There's a lot of special people involved in your family and in the NPL.
Yeah, I feel blessed to be part of that, and we are going to continue to grow in the NPL and touch more and more lives. It's an injustice to me that there were some people that wanted to play in this combine this weekend and they didn't get in. That bothers me. I want everybody that wants to be given a chance to get a chance. And I'm saying it here right now. I will make sure everybody that wants a chance will be given a chance. There's enough facilities being built. We're now having a bandwidth of staff that's going to be able to cultivate this. And everybody deserves a chance. And I'm going to be part of that growth. Yeah. That's
amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking this time out of this frenzy of a weekend for you. This has been really special getting to meet you and hear your story.
Well, I respect what you guys are doing for the industry. I've seen a couple of your other podcasts. You guys do a great job, and it's pretty clear you guys have a passion for what you're doing. And that's my other piece of advice is, for any of the kids watching, just like make sure you find something you're so heart committed to. It's not about the money you make. It's about the love you have. And then it becomes not a job. It becomes your passion. And what's your passion? Podcast, co-owner of a pro league. Then it's not working out. You can work off 3 hours sleep and still provide, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And there's something special about the phenomenon of this sport. And we've been so grateful to meet people where pickleball has just positively impacted their lives. There is something special about the pickleball community and the people involved. And so we love doing these interviews and just hearing the stories.
Please keep the positivity in your communities. Don't let pickleball go to the dark side where it's elitist and you're not good enough. And be nice, play with people. We know it's always your partner's fault when you lose. It's okay. Everybody says that, but give back to this sport. It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Rick.
Sure. Thank you for your time, you guys.
Thank you.